After spending the last few weeks exploring GTA 6's mapping project in 3D, replaying a bit of San Andreas and constantly jumping back and forth between the two, I realized something that genuinely caught me off guard. And despite everything Rockstar has accomplished over the last 25 years, I am not actually convinced that GTA 6 will manage to surpass what made San Andreas feel so special. Now, before everyone starts typing things like you're just blinded by nostalgia, trust me, I already thought of exactly the same thing. But the more I looked into it, the more I realized that San Andreas wasn't just a great map because it was big for its time. You see, San Andreas was a great map because it's something that Rockstar has never truly recreated since. Hi, I'm Silly, your future go-to giveaway channel for GTA 6, and today let's talk about why come November 2026, Rockstar's greatest open world might still be the one they built back in 2004. Now, before we go any further, I want you to think about something. Do you actually remember the size of San Andreas? Or do you remember how it actually felt? Because those are two completely different things. And looking back at it today, San Andreas really isn't that big. In fact, if you were to place it inside GTA 5's map, it honestly looks kind of adorable. And yet, back in 2004, driving from Los Santos all the way to Las Venturas genuinely felt like setting off on an actual journey. You'd leave Grove Street behind, drive through miles of countryside, and eventually find yourself climbing through thick forests, before suddenly ending up in the middle of a desert that looked absolutely nothing like where you started. And somehow, all of this never felt like you were simply driving to another city. It kind of felt like you had traveled to another part of the country on an adventure of a lifetime. Now, I don't actually think that Rockstar achieved this because they wanted to. In fact, I think they achieved it because they kinda had to, as back in the early 2000s, Rockstar wasn't working with lightning fast SSDs, dozens of gigabytes of memory, or hardware capable of rendering an entire state all at once. They just had a PlayStation 2 to work with, a console with just 32 megabytes of system memory. And to put that into perspective, a single high-quality screenshot from GTA 6 probably uses more memory than that, which meant Rockstar couldn't simply build one gigantic seamless world and hope that the hardware would keep up. They had to trick both the console and the player. This meant that every mountain range, every forest, every long winding road, and every tunnel, and basically every single stretch of countryside all served a greater purpose, as they quietly gave the PlayStation 2 enough time to unload one part of the world while loading up the next one, all without you ever noticing. And the part I find so fascinating is that the thing that started out as a technical limitation kind of became one of the greatest design decisions Rockstar has ever made.
Goddamn right.
You see, those long drives between cities weren't simply there to fill up the empty space. They basically gave every location a sense of purpose and made the entire state feel far bigger than it actually was. Los Santos, for instance, didn't feel like it was just a few minutes away from San Fierro, which it was in reality. It genuinely felt like you had left one part of the country behind and traveled somewhere completely different. The countryside wasn't just a road connecting point A to point B either. It acted like a natural border that slowly separated one region from the next, making each area kind of feel unique in its own way. And the same thing applied to places like Mount Chiliad, where climbing higher and higher made it feel as if you were leaving civilization behind and venturing into somewhere the game almost didn't want you to be in. The further you drove, the more excited you became to finally see what was waiting on the other side, which meant that arriving in San Fierro, crossing into Bone County, or seeing the bright lights of Las Venturas for the very first time genuinely felt rewarding. And not because the game gave you a trophy or unlocked an achievement, but because you actually had gone on a journey to get there. Now compare that to where Rockstar was with GTA 5, with a map that basically featured a looping highway and no actual sense of progression. And this here makes it easy to see why you could be scared that GTA 6 might have the same problem, which is extremely valid, as both GTA 4 and GTA 5 were a downgrade in terms of the map structure compared to GTA San Andreas. But funny enough, GTA 2 wasn't, and instead they applied those same principles of San Andreas to push the PS4 to its absolute limits. Now GTA 6 is being built for hardware that would have looked like literal science fiction in 2004. The PS5 can stream huge parts of the map almost instantly, which we basically saw in Crimson Desert, and this allows for some insane draw distances as well as for a bigger scale in terms of map size. And from a technical standpoint, this is all incredible, but while exploring the GTA 6 mapping project in 3D, one question kept popping into my head. What if removing those limitations of old consoles will also remove some of the magic they've accidentally created because of them? Will this lead to Vice City being easily visible from Port Gellhorn, and will Mount Calaga be far enough north to only be visible on the horizon far away from Vice City? Now yes, knowing Rockstar, we can definitely expect the same tricks to be applied to optimize the game for the PS5, considering that this will most likely be the first game to fully push the PS5 to its absolute limits. But will this be enough to compete with what San Andreas managed to pull off back in 2004 on 32 megabytes of system memory?
No.
Honestly, by the looks of it, with all the different biomes featured in the promotional material, I think Rockstar might actually do it, as they seem to be creating a modern day San Andreas that will basically stick to kids the same way the original San Andreas did to us, offering us a sense of progression that will take us from the Keys to Vice City all the way to the top of the map in a way that will be reminiscent of GTA San Andreas. And from the trailers, the similarities are actually kind of hard to ignore, as you seemingly begin in the Keys before moving into a dense urban environment that's packed with traffic, beaches and towering skyscrapers, right before the coastline slowly gives way to the grass rivers, and the grass rivers eventually transition into farmland around Ambrosia, all while industrial areas like Port Gellhorn introduce an entirely different atmosphere before the terrain gradually begins climbing towards Mount Calaga and the forests surrounding it. On paper, that's a pretty good natural progression, but if Rockstar gets the scale and pacing right, it could recreate that exact feeling San Andreas gave us over 20 years ago.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
That feeling that you genuinely traveled somewhere, and not because you've driven 50 real-life kilometers like in DayZ for instance, but because the world around you slowly transformed without you even thinking about it. And that's what made San Andreas so special to begin with, as it never relied on being the biggest map in gaming, and instead it relied on making every new location feel like a special event. Every city you visited had its own personality, and every biome had its own identity, and all the long drives you took rewarded you with something that looked completely different from where you had just come from. That is why people still remember crossing into San Fierro, or reaching Las Venturas, or seeing the desert for the very first time with that beautiful purple night sky.
Wow!
It wasn't just the destination that was important in San Andreas, it basically was everything that happened on your way there. And if GTA 6 can capture even half of that feeling, then I genuinely believe we will be looking at Rockstar's greatest world yet. But if every major location is visible from the beginning, if the transitions happen too quickly, or if the map ends up feeling like one giant seamless space instead of a journey through distinct regions, then, as strange as it sounds, San Andreas might still hold onto the title that Rockstar's newer games have been chasing ever since. And it's not a title of the biggest map, nor is it the title of the most detailed one, but it's the title of the one that felt the biggest. And honestly, I don't think this map is something you can measure with just square kilometers. I think that this map is something you feel the very first time you step foot into this world.
Goddamn right.
Anyways, what do you guys think? Do you think that GTA 6's map will follow the same formula of GTA San Andreas? Will they make the same mistake that they did with GTA 5? And is GTA San Andreas actually the best GTA map ever created? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and a big thank you to all the 2,210 people that ended up subscribing. You folks are the best. A big shout out goes to our returning member of the channel, Victor Vallejo. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now, if you guys haven't already, please make sure to hit that like button and of course subscribe so that good luck follows you on your future adventures. Stay silly, keep edging, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.